All right, Everything Must Go is directed by Dan Rush, and it stars Will Ferrell as the lead character. He plays a man named he plays a man named Nick, who just been laid off from his job, fired for a possible sexual harassment scandal. He's a recovering alcoholic, and this sends him off the deep edge. So he goes and he buys a big old case of beer, takes it home to find that he has been kicked out of his home, and his wife has left him and has locked the door and won't let him in. So all of his stuff is in the front yard, and he decides, rather than calling the proper people to get the stuff cleaned up or move it to storage or whatever, get a hotel room, he's just going to live in his front yard with a cooler of beer and kind of, throw his misery in everybody's face. There's a little boy who lives next door named Kenny, and played by Christopher Wallace. And they kind of grow one of those sort of cliched Hollywood sort of relationships where it's the older, world-weary man and the young boy who has to teach him to respect life again, and that kind of thing. I wasn't completely into that angle of the movie. There's also another next-door neighbor named Samantha who is expecting both a baby and her husband to ever come home. And they sort of spark a friendship and a relationship too. And basically what the movie wants to be about is recovery and alcoholism, as well as learning to accept the things in your life and to, what's that one, the cliche, in AA they say, I learned to accept the things that I can control, and I forget.
Sorry, I don't know the 12 steps at all. So I know
well, it's essentially, if you know it, that's essentially the message of the movie. And I think that it's fine. It's an okay movie. Will Ferrell does a serviceable job in the lead, though I think the role requires a bit more than he can do as an actor. And you have because he's so well known for those goofy comedies where he plays these dorky characters. He does a decent enough job kind of stripping all that away, but at the same time, you never really buy him as an alcoholic. You never really buy his struggle and his recovery or any of that stuff. And never really, the emotional weight that the movie wants to have never really feels that heavy. It always sort of feels a little light and a little predictable. So I like the movie okay. It was a decent enough time watching it, but I felt like there are some emotions that the movie was definitely aiming at that it didn't achieve. So I have to give it a B.
All right. I'm kind of in agreement with you. I was giving it a B minus. I felt, I kept thinking this is Will Ferrell's character from Old School 10 years later. He's gotten out of the frat house, and now he's realized he's an alcoholic. Now he's feeling the repercussions. Yeah. I had to give this some bonus points because he drinks a crap load of PBR through it, which is my favorite. So I'm like, all right, that's cool. That's cool. But yeah, no, that's a slow-paced, I guess it's, mimicking the slow recovery process of that, but it's really slow-paced and not a lot goes on. I mean, he sits in his front yard and you're waiting for him to come to a realization that he has to sell his stuff, and there's a little kid to help him, and he kind of plays baseball with the kid for a moment, and then there's that cool tension with the Samantha character. Yeah.
And I think the female performances in the movie, Rebecca Hall as Samantha, and then later there's a character played by Laura Dern who has a cameo. I think those are probably the best performances in the movie.
I really liked her and how she was, just kind of like along for the ride. She's like, I'm a bored housewife with kid on the way. I got nothing to do. Let's just go hang out with the alcoholic in the yard across the street. Seemed kind of, seemed like an Ellen Page role. Just kind of, let's just be this random person that's going to sit around and accept what's going on. I don't know. I was disappointed in it. I was expecting a lot more from it. I was going to be asking of it. I was bored through it. Didn't really take away anything from the plot line or anything. Yeah. Just kind of like, oh, well, there's another artsy Will Ferrell movie. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't think it was boring per se. I was never like looking at my clock the whole time. Yeah. But I just didn't feel like it was achieving what I think it wanted to ever. Like, you know, it wanted to be like a Clean and Sober meets Greenberg or something like that. And to me, it was lighter than that. It felt kind of low grade, kind of Sundance kind of movie. So it's fine.
It's